This is Bastion of Steel, boss number 1, and this video will be from the perspective of ranged DPS. Notice the raid is stacked in one spot, and we'll talk about why that is later. So the main mechanic we want to discuss is called Missile Storm, and it's going off in about 5 seconds. Please notice the two people are going to run away from the raid. They'll be dropping red bubbles on the ground until Missile Storm expires. So the reason they're running is because after each bubble drops on the ground, you have only a split second to get out of it before it explodes and kills you. So now we'll talk about the indicators. Just above left of the boss, you'll see a large yellow plus sign, and to the right of the raid, you see the KBM timer anchor. The yellow plus is a warning that Missile Storm is about to affect some of us. Get ready, there it is. And when the counter gets to 0, 1 or 2 people are affected. They have to immediately run away from the raid to take the bubbles away, and keep running until the effect expires. Now, you may have noticed that when 2 people ran, they ran in opposite directions. Our standard is group 1 runs left and group 2 runs right, and this is to give the runners more room to work with so they don't blow each other up. Now, sometimes the runners will be in the same group and will run in the same direction, which makes it a little more dangerous. But what runners do is they run side by side and just recognize who is on the inside relative to the arena circle and who is on the outside. When they loop around, the person on the inside loops towards the inside, and of course the person on the outside loops towards the outside. And this is how they avoid blowing each other up. Okay, here in a second you'll see I am the runner. I'm going to run to the right, and I run almost to the next pillar and then circle back. I also do a little jog at the end because I was trying to make sure the circles were gone before I returned to the group. The worst thing you can do is drop a bubble on the whole raid. I actually should have just run a little bit further before looping back. Here comes another warning yellow plus. And you'll see We Chug run to the left. Notice that this time only one person is affected. Now in a few seconds you'll see lots of colorful bubbles surrounding the raid, and this is where the tanks drag the boss away from us. So the main raid stack is going to stay right where it is. There are the bubbles, and there go the tanks. Okay, you'll also notice we're still getting hit with Missile Storm, and there it goes. And there I go. I also want to mention those lightning beams connected to the pillars at this stage. Those are lethal. Don't go there. Now, when the boss is at range like this, he will be near that inner blue circle, and that is right at about 20 meters from the raid. Rogues should make note of the 20 meters since Dusk Strike has a range of 20 meters, and the placement of the boss might be just past 20 meters, and Dusk Strike won't work. So watch the boss placement, and if necessary, take a step forward until Dusk Strike is in range. So now that we understand Missile Storm, I want to go back to the point of stacking. So we stack because when the runners take off, we want them to get away from us as quickly as possible. If we spread out to the left or right, then it's more likely we'll get a red bubble dropped on us just as the runners leave. So remember, the most important stacking is from left to right. One more mechanic to be aware of is indicated by a large yellow ground circle targeting one person. If you get targeted, you need to have 3 or more people in the circle with you to avoid getting killed. In this video, every time the circle appears, it appears on top of the whole raid, which is very convenient because no one needs to move. However, sometimes the boss will punt someone away from the raid and drop the circle on them. You're going to see the yellow circle here in a little bit. There's the circle, and you see it pulses and then blows up. If you get punted and targeted, run back to the raid immediately. And if you're in the raid stack, run towards the person who got punted and get inside their circle, otherwise they won't make it back in time. Now, you may have noticed throughout this video that my camera is not usually pointed directly at the boss. You may have guessed why. It's because I want to be ready to run when I get hit with Missile Storm. So it just allows me to get away a little bit more quickly. Okay. Here comes another Missile Storm, and watch for the yellow plus. Okay, and then We Chug and Kick are hit, and they run in opposite directions. Well done. Now the boss gets dragged away again, and this time I will take a step forward to make sure I am in 20 meters. Okay, he's correctly positioned, and so I step back. I also have this alert on the screen now that says hit the tower. That was designed to remind me that I can attack that nearby pillar with Dusk Strike if I want to, so that I don't have to worry about the range to the boss. I don't actually use that anymore, but I just wanted to mention that option. Alright, next you're going to see Brain and Agathra run to the left together, and notice they're correctly avoiding each other, with Agathra looping immediately towards the inside of the arena, and then kind of runs a figure 8 while staying away from the raid. That works. And next you'll notice the boss is dead. Good job, everybody.